So I've done some more cleanup on Vincent here, and finished him off. Got it all really, really nice and clean. So there's some really nice edge loops. Collapsed the symmetry into the stack and added a couple little bumps that I had modeled on him. So these have been now added in. They're non-symmetrical items, so they were done after the stack was collapsed down. Now we're going to go about unwrapping the character and produce an unwrap for him. So the unwrap modifier always goes down below turbo smooth, so we're unwrapping a whole lot less. And we can also collapse it into the stack without collapsing in turbo smooth. So I'm just going to add the unwrap modifier, and we can go into unwrap now. And one of the first things I do is I go and say select by element, and I say select everything, and I say ignore back facing, and I grab the whole thing. And at this point now what I can do is just go and add a quick planar map on everything. I do this just to get rid of any map seams that are already existing on the model, and it just kind of flattens the whole thing out, and I can just push it aside out of my UV space, so I don't have to worry about what's there and what I've picked or not picked or anything of that sort. Now we want to be able to break this up into some usable pieces, and we can do that in edge mode and look at things like nice edge loops and find some nice edge loops that are going to help us. Let me try this one. That looks pretty good actually. That goes right around the ear right off the bat, so that's kind of nice. Goes around the outside of the chin. I should be able to get this flattened pretty good. So over in the unwrap, I'm going to right click and just say break and just make that into a seam and just bust it off. And then we want to go maybe this one somewhere along the edge of the hairline up front here, I guess. And we'll break this along, so we can grab that piece, and you can see that it loops all the way around. Grab it in here now, instead of saying loop here, say loop here, you'll notice it doesn't loop all the way around. This loop respects the segments that have already been broken off, the elements, sorry, that have already been broken off, so it stops at this point. So let's just go and say break again and just break that into a piece. Select by element on. I should be able to go in and grab the face now. And so there's our face. There should be an ear on this side. I'm just going to say quick planar on that and just drop myself an ear. Grab the other one, quick planar on it, and that's going to be the rest of the head. Probably end up cutting that into a few pieces as we go, just to make it fit in, because it's kind of less important as far as texture space. We want to make sure the face gets the most texture space if we're going to have things uneven. I'm just going to quickly say as well, just rescale while we're working on this, just to keep them all the similar size to begin with. I'm not going to worry about packing them. I'm going to worry about trying to flatten this out and getting it to break down into pieces. Now we can break it down in a couple of ways. One is using the relax tool, and if we just hold this down and go into the relax tool, there's 3 different options. There is polygon, edge, angles, and by centers. Centers will just make things turn into a big pile of mush, and you can see it all getting small here. It doesn't respect the edge lengths in the actual 3D model, whereas polygon centers, you can see it pushing out as well, and same thing with edge, it'll be pushing out as well, trying to calculate and basically a big cloth sim for all intents and purposes. Another way that can be pretty useful, I'm going to go and just grab certain vertices here in the model, and kind of corner points. Easier for me to do it in 3D space right now because that's such a mess, just stacked up on top one another. So I'm just going to go in and grab several, something. Oh, I need to break off something else before I go any further here. I'm going to break off the inside of the mouth and just do an edge loop around here. Again, we'll just break that. If we don't do that, we're going to end up with a real problem. So there's the inside of the mouth for now. Let's go back to our vertex selection. And we have all those picked. And I'm just going to ignore them on here for now. And anywhere else, oops, I needed to turn off select by element. There we go. We've got all those corner points there. I'm going to say pin. And now over to the face mode and pick the entire face element essentially. So we've got the entire piece, and we're going to go into quick peel mode, and you'll see it should suddenly jump and give us a nice quick peel. Now the quick peel, I'm going to turn on. We can either go with a checkerboard pattern here, which probably works fine. I've scaled, I loaded the checkerboard pattern into Slate and then scaled it, made it smaller checkerboard in my first attempt. This one, just because it's so big, it looks really small. And that's what I want. I want these small, squares everywhere. You can go in and grab it right off the model here, and you can see that that map is actually currently the one showing, and you might want to tile it up even more. And I like to be able to get it, my squares pretty small, so I can see where they're going wrong. And as we make this thing smaller, this will still give me fairly small squares to be able to see what's happening. So you can see that I've got some serious issues in here. Let's go in and grab these, and let's just start peeling this out. See if we can get this to and quick peel. There we go. Had them all selected by mistake. So let's grab this one. Now let's pull this guy out over here. Same thing on this side. Quick peel mode in previous versions of Max didn't work that well. It worked, but it was a real pain. It required that you actually sort of pick everything in your unwrap and stop it from doing anything. And it was rather frustrating to use, to say the least, because as soon as you turned on the mode, it would quick peel everything, and you had to sort of lock everything down to make it work. It's no longer the case. Looks like we're getting some odd folding here. I can fix later. And let's go full screen with this so we can see it. And I'm also going to grab these corner points here. I think as soon as you grab a point, you'll notice it immediately locks down with that little blue box. As we pull this apart, it's actually completely flattening the mesh quite nicely. So what we want to do is just simply watch and have a look at our model and see where we're getting the most stretching. And for the most part, I'm seeing pretty square polygons everywhere, or checkerboard pattern everywhere. And this is what we're looking for. So I'm just going around and taking a peek at what's happening. Inside the eye, I'm getting some stretching. Maybe we can do a lockdown in here and see if we can add some more. See that we can pull it over. And I can even grab and lock down the other side so that I can pull this together. And you can see those now sliding around on the surface. Do the same on this side. And that is starting to look pretty good. Not bad at all. So that's a quick way of getting it laid out. Now we need to check. I'm just going to turn off quick peel mode. And we'll just deselect. Let's go large again here. Looks like I had one picked up here by mistake, but that's okay. I'm just going to go back. I'm in face mode. I'm going to go select inverted polygons. I'm going to go select overlapping polygons. And we're definitely going to get this eye coming up this way because there's a ton of triangles in here. This is just sort of capped off in the end. So it's going to complain about areas here that you'd say, well, there are no overlapping, but there are, because there's probably triangles all over the place in here that are overlapping one another. And we're not actually seeing those. But I can see that there's no problems in any major areas. So let's just do our ears really quick. And with our ears, I'm going to just select elements. I'm going to grab both those. I'm going to go to relax by polygons, which tends to work a little bit better for items like this. And I'm just going to say relax. And I should be pretty close there. So let's just again go and say inverted. So those are inverted there. overlaps. Let's go back to inverted. Really, they're kind of overlapped as well. I'm just going to deselect all of this. Oops. I'm going to deselect with that turned off. It looks like I might have one down here in the corner that I missed as well. And with those picked, I'm going to go and say select polygon to vertex. I'm going to turn my soft select and just turn up a little bit of soft selection and change it to UVW. And now to get that to be fixed really quickly, I'm going to use the relax by centers that doesn't respect the actual volume. So if I hit apply there, you'll see it becomes just a complete mess. Again, I'm going to turn down the iterations real low and the amount real low and just give it a tap. And there, I could even, just to make sure that that worked out better. And we'll just tap that a bunch of times just to make sure they're not overlapped in anywhere that's going to cause problems when it comes to texture painting. That's looking pretty good again. Let's just check and see where this problem down here was. I think it was overlapping. It was giving me something down in this inverted. Oh yeah, down in here for whatever reason. When we're working with this, it was not stretching that piece back out again properly. So let's just go and fix those. We could do that just by hand, just in vertex mode. I'm just going to turn off the soft select. And let's just fix those by hand. This one seemed to straighten itself out. The other side didn't. And now we have this big piece left here and the inside of the mouth. Inside of the mouth should be relatively easy. This big one, of course, is going to be a little bit more difficult to work with. See, it's stretched all the way around. We're going to have problems. So let's cut it in half. Again, I'm going to do the loop in here so it doesn't go past the seams that are existing. I'm going to say break. And now that that's got a break on it, let's just grab the whole thing and see what happens when we do a relax. That's a relax by centers, which I don't want. Relax by polygons. We'll crank the amount back up and the iterations in the amount, and watch it kind of go and fold itself probably inside out as it tries to solve the mess. So that might be causing us a little bit of grief. So what I'm going to do is maybe a quick planer, or maybe let's just see if it straightens itself out. Doesn't seem to be liking it so much. So let's do let's go and pin some things and pin some points on here and see if we can pull this apart and get it to so again, I'll just make sure I turn that off and get rid of any points that are in other parts of the model. And that looks good. I'm going to say pin those and grab that piece, turn on quick peel. And go in and start pulling points again. Now we need to know we're in the right way. I think we are. That one goes down there. There's the other one. Oops. I grab the same one. Don't want to keep adding pinpoints. So we'll pull that out. And let's grab maybe a point there, point there. I'll grab that one and that one. And that looks pretty good. We should be able to straighten it out with this. And again, let's take a look at what we've got while we're doing this. Now, it looks like my grid might be a little bit large, so let's just go in and change that up. It's not bad. That's much better to see. Okay, so we can see when we look at that, it's nice and even now. We've got obviously bigger ones down around the bottom because it's going to be stretched more, but it certainly is quite even all the way around and all the way around the model. So it's looking really quite nice as it is there. So let's just turn off peel mode and let's see if we can pack this a little bit now. So with this in here, these all should be about the same size. Oh, I totally forgot this piece. This is the inside of the mouth. We're going to need that as well. And let's go and try the center line. That should be a center line there. And let's loop that and break. And I think that should be it as well. Now let's just say loop, break. And we should have two pieces now. Get another way to deal with this. I'm just going to say planar quickly. Planar. Grab both of those and we'll relax them again. Just bring them into pieces. And you can see them starting to do one of those crazy folds that you'll see. You should be able to get it to unfold itself eventually. Throw in some stretch maybe. Doesn't seem to be helping. There we go. I think they've unfolded themselves at this point. Again, we could also go in and do some pinning and whatnot, and if we wanted and stretch it out this way. I find it works quite well. So I'm just going to grab the corners again, a couple corner spots. Grab those and just say pin. Over to our face mode again and say peel. And just pull them apart a little bit, straighten them out. What we'll probably end up doing is just kind of packing these into place as we need them. Because the inside of the mouth obviously isn't going to matter too much. So that looks pretty good. Peel mode off. I'm going to grab all of the parts and let's just say rescale, just make sure they're the same size just to start with, which looks pretty good now. And let's try and pack these into space. So here's how I go about packing them, trying to get them into place as much as possible. Let's do a rough guess to begin with. So what can we put where? So maybe we can jam this in the sides, maybe we can pull these down and put them in here somewhere and have them placed in. For now I'm just going to dump them down real low, and we'll grab the this mode here where you have a sort of a gizmo. Stick one corner in the corner, hold down control so that we're not scaling it, and let's pack them all in. So this doesn't look like we're doing a very good job, really, is what it boils down to. We could obviously pack them a whole lot better. The best way to get these two together, because they're the big pieces, is going to be really difficult because it's just, this is taking up so much room. Much of it I probably don't even worry too much about because it's the back of the head. So can we chop it up? Can we cut this piece up a little bit and make it easier? So I'm just going to turn off the select by element, grab a loop there, and say break, and maybe we could even do break up the center, and this could get us a couple extra pieces here, and maybe make it easier. I'm going to pull the smaller ones out completely. We'll pack those in as we go. So these are going to come down here somewhere. Maybe these will get jammed in the sides, and the head will go in the middle. Now all these are about the same size, but we really want this face to have a fair bit more UV space. We don't want to run out with it, so let's maybe increase the size of that and stick it in the middle. These are going to go up here somewhere, I'm guessing. These are going to get packed in the sides. Just leave them out for now. And let's see if we can just take this up a little bit more. And then let's see if we can pack this in a bit better. You can always rotate it. That might help. And of course, because we have the peel mode, we can also go and peel it out and try and get some of that UV space back into it again. I'm thinking we could even do a little bit better. Pull that maybe a little bit larger. And then piece all these in here. Give ourselves a bit more size on the ears. I'm going to pick them both and scale them both at the same time. Just pack that back in. Not just so I can keep them the same size quickly and easily. So let's go and add quick peel again, or just work on quick peel. So I'll stick that in the corner as much as possible. Let's fit it in a bit more. And so into peel mode, and you see it go snapping off because it doesn't have any corners locked down. So let's just lock those corners down first. Oops, get out of that mode. I'm just going to grab some corners. Got those two corners picked already. Grab those, pin them over to the face mode. I'll just grab them both. And back into quick peel mode. So you see they don't jump when we do anything. So now we can kind of pull them back into place. And maybe stretch them a bit and get them to fit and take up more UV space. So let's look at what's happening to those UVs as we do it. We're working on pieces, and this one should be, I'm trying to find the vertex that's picked. It's down here. And so that's the bottom corner. Oh, on this side, sorry. Looks like I might have it inside out. Let's check that first. I have the feeling I have this probably on the wrong side, or it's inside out. So I'm just going to turn off quick peel for the moment. Say select inverted. Nope, we've got them the wrong way around. They're just on the wrong side. So let's flip these over and get them on the right side first before we go any further. It's not good to leave them on the wrong sides. It just becomes frustrating as you start to work with and try and work with your UV space. I think what we have is this vertex up in the corner here, this face is the one underneath the chin. Yes, it is. So that's the one up underneath the chin, so that's in the right place. So that means this one over here should be up in this corner on this side here. And this one's going to be in that corner. So that looks pretty good. So let's go about quick peeling this again. Grab both of those and go into the peel mode. And just you have to turn off the select by element. And I'll grab one in the middle here and just kind of pull that out. And I'll pull this one up. See if I can get it to stay in. So then every time you pick a new one, it pins down a new point and stretches it around it. We want to check and make sure that we have not stretched it out too much in any given place once we look at the actual UVs on the model. So we can see that the UVs on the model look pretty clean still. Nice squares. That all looks nice. So let's do exactly the opposite on the other side. That one in that corner. Down there. If we can stretch this one back. It doesn't look like it wants to go really. See if we can find a better, maybe more like that. Maybe we can unpin some of these. Oops. I might be able to unpin some of them on the other side. They're making it quite a mess. Looks like this one unraveled a little bit better. So we can always unpin, grab these, and we'll just undo the pins on them. Just undo the pins on those. And we'll just undo the pin on that. Undo the pins there for now and see if we can get this to work the same way on the other side. Yeah, looks like we can. That looks a little bit cleaner. Got a little bit of space left in between here, so let's have a look what that looks like. Looks pretty clean. Shoulders are stretched a bit, but you know, they're getting large in the shoulders. I'm not that concerned with it. This character would probably have something on hanging over his shoulders anyways. And that looks pretty clean. So that pinning can work really quite nicely to get it packed. Now let's put these ones in. So pinning off and find somewhere to put these other ones. I'm guessing being that they're inside of the mouth, you can probably jam them together and make them smaller, UV space. And leave them right in here. Ears, let's just check the UV sizes for the ears. Looks like it's bigger still than the head, so let's shrink that down by scaling up the UV space, and we'll pack those in, and that's done a pretty good job of using up our UVs. Let's make sure we don't have any overlapping. Oh, looks like I missed on these ones here. Need to piece this in. We'll just do some quick pinning on these as well. So I'll just grab that. Doesn't look like that corner. That corner's pinned. Just pin those. And that corner. And that one. And that one. Let's pin those. And go into quick peel mode again. That looks reasonably clean. Again, let's take a look at what we're getting as far as UV space, and looks fine. It's the back of the head. We're not going to see it anyways, to be honest with you, so I don't even know why I'm giving it so much UVs. You can see they're a lot bigger, so we could even scale them down more in case I ever decide to make this guy bald for whatever reason. I want to have it set up. So there you go. There's the UVs packed and packed reasonably well. The last step is just to do a real quick overlapping, and we just got around the eyes there that we saw before, and we'll just do an inverted just to make sure nothing's inverted. And there's our UV space all worked out and calculated. So I'm just going to collapse 2 on that, get rid of it out of the stack, never leave your UVs in there.